It's not hard, guys. You can do it. There's no doubt about it. You guys can knock it out just like these professionals do. Hey folks, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 3 simple steps to creating your very own orchard. Believe it or not, it's easier than you think. Let's get into it. All right, as you can see in this video, right now it is November, so we don't have any leaves on the trees, but this is our peach orchard. We just added these here last year, and this tree right here I'm actually going to be replacing today, so I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. And then these are our other trees. This one here, during the storm, the rope tore up, so I'm going to be replacing that today also. But these are all peach trees here. We have a small little peach orchard right now. It's 15. Probably by the end of the week, it's going to be 20, depending on what the weather. We're supposed to get some heavy rains this week, up to 6 inches of rain. But hopefully that'll soften the ground up a little bit, and we'll be able to get 5 other peach trees in, and then we're going to call it quits. That's going to be a 20-tree peach orchard. But on top of that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plum trees. Then we've got in front of our raised beds there, we got a small one. Then the next one with the stakes there, and then that small one there. Those are nectarine trees. And then we have 2 apricot trees. And in front of the property, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then down here, we've got 4 more maple trees. So today we're going to be focusing on just the 3 simple steps it takes to create your very own orchard. And man, I'm sure glad we did. These other little peach trees here, they put out some great peaches, let me tell you. So we're going to get one replaced today. This one here had some stress during our drought during the summer, and we just couldn't save it. So I'm going to be digging it up and putting a fresh one on. So we're going to be adding 5 more over here, and that'll complete our orchard. We're going to have 20 peach trees, 5 plum, 3 nectarine, 2 apricot. We had some fig trees, but they just couldn't take the winter up here in northeast Texas. And so we are turning this bare land into a regenerative farm that we can pass on for generations. So we hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to get into putting this tree in, and we're going to talk about those 3 easy steps. All right, so the first thing you need to think about is what location on your property, your yard, your field, whatever it may be, what location are you going to put the trees in, or where do you want them to be? Now, when you choose that area, you need a couple of things here. You need to make sure that the area has at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. And in this case, it does. This is just formerly open pasture here. Now it's our front yard. You also want to make sure that the ground has good drainage. And I do not know if you can tell on ours, it slopes down over towards my dad's tiny home that we put in. Shameless plug here. If you hadn't seen that series, we got a whole series on this channel on how we put his tiny home in. But anyway, we want the ground to slope to have proper drainage. So 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, proper slope or proper drainage. So they just not sitting in water all the time. You know, a lot of people say, well, I want to put a fruit tree in, or I want 2 or 3 fruit trees in the backyard, and they stick them over next to the garage because that's a convenient area for them. And it might hold water or something like that. And they're not thinking about the tree itself and what it takes to make that tree prosper. So, adequate sunlight, 6 to 8 hours, and proper drainage. You want to make sure that you're able to get some of the water away from it. Okay, so the next thing under the first priority that you need is, do you have adequate spacing for that tree? When that tree or those trees mature, are you going to have spacing for them to grow? Are they going to be running into your neighbor's fence? Or are they going to be running into some power lines or things like that? So that goes in to number 2. Number 2 is, what type of tree do you want? That's the first thing under number 2. What type of tree? You want apple trees? You want plum trees? You want peach trees? Whatever tree you want, you need to research that tree and make sure that the zone you live in. So look that up. We live in zone 8 here in Northeast Texas. So look that up. Make sure you know what zone you live in, because you very well might want a certain tree and it just won't grow where you're at. Like we would love to have lemons and limes here, but they're just not going to make it. This is just not the climate. Now we could grow them inside in a little pot, a little small tree, and have some in there, but we're not going to be able to grow them out in our yard. Not going to be able to grow pineapples out here. It's just not going to work. So know what area you're in, what zone you're in, and look that up. Make sure you know that, and you can find out in that zone what type of trees prosper. In this part of Texas, all around us are wineries. There's peach farms, berry farms, and all of that. So those type of trees and those type of plants can grow real well in this area. So make sure you know what zone you're in. Now, as far as spacing goes, that ties into the number 2, after you pick your type of tree, that is really going to tell you the spacing that you need between trees. So what we do on ours, I don't know if this will show up very well, but from this tree to that tree is approximately 16 feet. So that gives this tree right here 32 foot to grow out in diameter. And same thing with that other tree over here. Every one of our peach trees are the same. So we've got them all approximately 16 feet apart. They might be a few inches off from that, but we pull strings and line them up and do all that other kind of good stuff. So they're pretty much in line. So spacing. Once you figure out what tree you want, you figure out how big it's going to get, and then you will know in whatever area you're going to plant them in, you'll know exactly how many would fit in that area, taking into account the growth that they'll come to at maturity. Okay, so the next thing under number 2 is, if you get a type of tree, whether it's a plum, whether it's a nectarine, or a peach tree, or an apple tree, or a pear tree, whatever the case may be, you need to make sure that that specific breed of fruit, that type of fruit itself, doesn't need the same type of fruit to pollinize itself, to be able to work together to make sure each tree is successful. So on our peach trees, we have Florida Key, we have red skinned, and we got one other one. I don't remember what it is. Let's see if this is it. Yep, this is one of them, Alberta. So with those different types of peach trees, they're able to pollinize each other and make sure everything works. So when you're looking for them, make sure that you're getting, you know what size you're going to get and where to put them, but also make sure that they work together in order for you to have the trees bear fruit, if that makes sense. All right, so let's get to digging this thing and we'll cover number 3. All right, so this tree here is a peach tree. We've been buying some of our trees from a local nursery, but to be quite honest with you, this one right here came from the nursery, and it is slow growing and it died. So what we did was we went up to Tractor Supply, and if you'll look around Tractor Supply where you live, Tractor Supply usually has trees that grow in the zone that the store's in. So the Tractor Supply that's near us, it's 30 minutes away or so, it sells trees that grow in this zone. So we have really liked the fruit trees that have come out of Tractor Supply. Our main part of our orchard, the big 4 that we started with, came from Tractor Supply. Let me get to digging this and we'll talk about number 3. All right, so let's talk about number 3. Number 3, the first thing we want to talk about under it is soil preparation. So when you're thinking about planting a tree, a lot of people will just dig a hole and set the tree in the hole, cover it up with the same dirt, and put a little bit of water on it and just let it fend for itself. Well, there's a little bit more to it than that, but it's really, really not that hard. I'm just trying to dig through all this mulch. Usually when you see our orchard, it has black mulch all around every tree, and we haven't got around to doing our winter prep on these because we wanted to get these trees replaced. So back to soil preparation. So you're going to dig the hole on the tree, and it's going to have a little root ball on it, and I'll show you that here in just a second when we get it out of this bucket. I'm going to take the dirt that's all around this, and I'm going to try to widen the hole out wider than the bucket that is holding the peach tree right now. And you got to make it plenty deep too, because when we talk about having the proper soil amendments, you're going to see, and you've probably seen it in the bucket of my tractor already, we use compost, and that is not store-bought because we've used that in the past, but we have our own compost because of our cows. All right, so I'm going to pull this tree out. And this is really wet from us watering the tree, and I'm going to break this up, kind of loosen the root ball just a little bit without doing too much damage. All right, and I'm going to look and see how it's going to be placed, and just remember I got to amend the soil here in a minute, so I am going to have to dig out a little bit more. Let's get it out of the way. So soil amendment, this is the compost I told you about. Look how dark that is, just beautiful. It takes about a year for ours to get like that. We got 3 piles out there from the last 3 years. But what we do is we put that compost all around the tree and on top. There we go. There we go. Just a hair off the string and we're good. And so we amend our soil around our trees and in our garden, rock right there, with our compost, and that really helps a lot. So number 3 is making sure you got good soil amendments. It also has to do with digging the tree. You want to make sure that you got plenty of space around the tree. You don't want to put it in the same hole, and make sure that you got room around it to get good soil amendments all the way around it. Make sure it's planted good and it's not being, the roots are not being choked off in the root ball. We want to make sure that where you're putting it, that you're going to be able to get to it and have good maintenance. Make sure you're able to maintain those trees. Don't put them so far. You know, a lot of people don't want trees next to the house, and they're like, well, if we put it out on the back 40, it'll be fine. Well, think about the storms. Think about having to water them, go out and check on them. Put them somewhere where it's convenient for you to get the fruit off of it, but also in an area that's not too far for you to be able to maintain. Okay, you notice how I went ahead and made a bowl around the tree. That's because you're not supposed to have really anything that covers the base of the tree. So we know that there's going to be a lot of rain this week. So I'm not going to water a whole lot. I just want to try to get some of this to settle. And then I'm going to pile some more dirt on top. And then if we do have an issue with settling on this tree, after all this rain, these storms come through, then I'm going to come back out and I'm going to put some more compost on it. I'm going to throw some of this sand around it just to protect that compost. But that's it, folks. That's the 3 things you need to do. You need to pick your location, make sure that that location meets the criteria we talked about. Pick the tree that you want, make sure you have adequate spacing and things of that nature to be able to put as many trees as you're wanting out. And the third thing is just make sure that you do the proper amendments on the soil and that you maintain that tree and give it what it needs. If it's needing nitrogen or whatever the case, you know, that you might want to do a soil sample or something like that and figure that out. But whatever it's lacking, or you see that it's got some pests getting in around it and all, you know, you might need to use diatomaceous earth or something like that to get down, to get rid of some of those ants or other pests that you have in the area. So that's it, folks. Really, there is nothing hard about it. Now, I know there's going to be some professionals, trees, and some professional orchard people and all that say, oh, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. Listen, man, YouTube is getting to the point to where some of the people on YouTube make it seem so hard that the average guy or the average lady cannot have these benefits on their own property or in their backyard. And we talk about that in some of our chicken videos that we do. But it's the same thing with an orchard. There is nothing hard about it, okay? If you want them all lined up, just pull a string. If you don't want a string, just paint a line on the ground and make sure they're all in that line. Do whatever you want to do and whatever design you want to do it in. Just make sure your trees have the right space. Make sure they've got proper drainage. Make sure they got proper fertilizer and proper soil amendments and stuff like that. And it's not hard. If you're worried about it at first, get you one of those larger pots and take that tree and the dirt that came in the smaller pot, put it in that and pack some good compost around it that you can buy at the store, or potting soil mix or something like that. We prefer stuff that don't have a whole lot of chemicals in it, preferably none, but you know, that's kind of hard to do nowadays. But anyway, just put some of that around it, let it grow a little bit, and then move it out to where you want to move it to. But it's not hard, guys. You can do it. There's no doubt about it. You guys can knock it out just like these professionals do. Don't think that it's that hard. Just take those few baby steps and get your own little orchard going. Now listen, I don't know if you guys made it this far, but if you have, y'all check out our other channel we got going on called Living Texas Travels. It's going to be our travel videos for me and my wife. I'm retired, and between doing these videos and working this farm, we'll shoot off to a town or two here and there, or fly somewhere and get a little short vacation in. So if y'all want to see some travel videos, we've got some on this channel. We're moving them over to the other channel. So Living Texas Travels, or at Living Texas Travels, all one word. You should be able to find us. It's a brand new channel, just started. I think we've got 21 subscribers. So if you're interested in travel channels, y'all check that out. If not, we appreciate you guys sticking with us. You guys have a blessed day.